Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is the Preserving History and Democracy podcast in the Doña County Clerk's office. So I just want to say welcome and thank you for listening. Today is a very exciting day. We are talking about election updates. As you all know, early voting has already started, or at least I hope you know that early voting has already started. And today we have some very special guests. We have, of course, Cynthia Mendoza. She's off camera right now, but she'll be here in a little bit. She's our communication coordinator. We also have Emily Burr, who is our voter registration lead. And we have Janice Giron, who is our Bureau of Elections supervisor. So thank you for listening, and we're going to jump right in. Early voting started on May 7th, which was this past Tuesday, a couple days ago. Early voting is here at the Doña County Government Center. So if you want to come and early vote, I think I talked to someone, one of our city councilors came in yesterday, and she's like, it took me about a minute to vote. And I was like, sounds good. I love that. Yeah.
Beat the line.
That's right.
There hasn't been a long line, so it's a good time to come right now.
Absolutely. Come and vote early. I want to go ahead and talk real quick about online and mail registrations because registration is closed. And I also want to talk about same-day registration, which is why we invited Emily on today. This is Emily's area of expertise.
True.
Yes. So go ahead and can you tell our listeners why we closed the poll, the voter rolls?
For sure. Okay, so in Doña County, and I'm pretty sure all over New Mexico, early voting begins 4 weeks before an election. That's true for primaries, generals, regular local elections. In order for us to be able to do that so that folks can have that long period of time in case election day is not going to work for them, we basically lock down your voter profiles. And that way there aren't a lot of changes being made while people are issuing their ballots. It avoids things getting mixed up. It avoids errors. And for that reason, we can't process most forms of voter registration. So sending them in through the mail, trying to do them online, trying to register with a VRA that you see at the farmer's market.
A VRA is a voter registration agent.
Thank you. Yes. Although most of them are kind of dormant right now, but I know there are a few out there who are still operating. If you send these in to us, we do still accept them, and we will process them after the election once it's over and everything has settled down, but we can't do it while the election is happening to avoid all those mix-ups. But we are able to make the exception with same-day registration because that involves you going to a polling place of your choice. It's available at all open polling sites. You go, you update your registration with a clerk staff there, and then you immediately go and vote after, so your profile gets locked down as well. So you're also not going to be experiencing all those changes afterwards, but you will be able to update whatever it is you need to impact your ballot, and then you go get that ballot right away.
Is there anything that they can't update during the primary, Emily?
Thank you for asking, Janice. So during a primary, you have the three major political parties choosing who's going to represent them in the general, right? You've got your Democrats, your Republicans, your Libertarians. In order to vote on one of those parties' tickets, you have to be registered in one of those parties. If you are currently independent or you're registered with a minor party when the election begins, you can use SDR to choose one of those parties and then vote that ballot. But if the election begins and you're already in one of those major parties, you cannot use it to switch at that point. If you want to change before the election ever begins, you can change your party as many times as you ever want to. We've had someone who updates his party, I think, a dozen times a year, and that's totally fine. But once an election begins or once the primary begins, if voting has begun and you're already in a lane, you do have to stick with that lane until the primary is over.
So again, recap, you can change your party from a minor to a major party.
Yes.
During the election.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot change major to major.
Correct.
Like once you've picked a major party, you have to stick with it.
Right. At least for the duration of the primary.
Yes.
I know there are a lot of folks who are not super into most of the official major political parties, and they will choose one just for the purpose of voting in the primary. And then after the primary is over, they go back to being independent or they go back to being whatever their favorite minor party is. That is totally fine as well. It is not a lifetime commitment by any means. So same-day registration, you will have to come prepared if that's something that you would like to do. For most folks, or for everybody, you're going to need some form of ID. For most folks, if you have a New Mexico driver's license or ID card that's issued by the MVD, that should be fine. Especially if the address that's on your ID is what you're planning on registering as, like that's your most up-to-date address. If you are moving or you have just moved, you haven't had a chance to go by the MVD and update your license yet, you will also need to bring some kind of document that has your new address on it. It could be a leasing agreement, a utility bill, your new deed to your house, something to that effect, a pay stub, whatever it might be that's got your name and your new address on it. You'll bring that in addition to your ID. And for you folks who have just moved to the beautiful state of New Mexico from other states and you haven't had a chance to go to the MVD either, it's the same thing. You can use your out-of-state license if it's got your photo on it, and you can also use that utility bill and so on that puts you here in Doña County. And I know we've got some folks here who are students at NMSU. You've maybe just moved here from out of state as well, or maybe you've moved from a different county to come to NMSU. Go Aggies. If all you've got is your student ID, and I know for a fact that those have your photos on it too, if you bring that with you, you can also bring one of your student feed documents that puts you in Doña County as well. And that's totally fine. But I know a lot of you also have driver's licenses, so if you want to use that, that's okay too. It's just up to you what you're going to want to bring. We're basically looking for, does it have your picture on it? Does it have your registered address on it? And is it an official document? We can take a copy. We cannot take a picture of it on your phone.
Got it.
Yeah.
Very good to know. So what is a common reason that someone would use SDR?
Oh, excellent. So
Same day registration, sorry.
So the most common reason that we have been seeing for the last couple of elections, and I do want to say it is pretty new, so we're still learning a lot of things about it. Most commonly, it is folks who have moved and need to update their address because where you live determines your precinct, right? So that affects what ballot you're going to get, who you're eligible to vote for. So that's a very common one. We also get folks who have just moved here from out of state or from another county. In order to vote in Doña County, you do have to be a resident of Doña County, so that's a big one as well. In the primary, we do see a lot of people who are choosing one of those major parties, so that's going to be a lot of the attention that we get there. And then, of course, we have folks who have just never voted before, never registered before, and this is the one where they're going to make it there first.
I love that. I love when people vote for the first time. It makes me so, I love seeing like a 60-year-old. She was so adorable. She's like a 60-year-old woman. She came in. She was so excited. It was the first time she ever voted. That always makes me so
and
happy.
now we have those special little bells.
I was about to say,
yeah, we have
if
bells.
you are a first-time voter and you vote in person, ask them to ring the bell.
Yes, do it, because we have little bells everywhere. Love it. I love it. Okay, let's see. Emily, anything else you wanted us to know about all the things that you do?
So we are very excited about same-day registration. If you guys end up having any feedback for us, we would love to hear it because it's only been out a few years, and we love to learn about ways that we can kind of streamline the process. If I happen to have any policy wonks that are out there in the audience, you're looking for statute 1-4-5.7 if you want to read up all about it. I know that there are at least two of you out there somewhere. And then let's see, what else? Voter registrations? I don't know. I know that we're very excited about getting to process all the registrations after the election is over. Like, they accumulate, and it gives us something to do once the audit is taken care of and once the canvassing is taken care of. So we're looking forward to that. We may end up cutting that sentence. I don't know that that's really all that interesting. I guess if you are someone who is registering online through the nmvote.org portal right now, if you're sending us 7 registrations a day, I'm very sorry. There's a reason they're not getting processed. I promise we will do it. We just can't right now. We're not ignoring you. I see you.
That's true.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I think that's it then. Emily, if you don't got anything else for us, then I guess we're good.
She's much better at this than I am. She can
I listen to a lot of podcasts, so you have to like emote with your voice. Yeah, I don't know.
Cool. Well, Emily can stay because Janice said. Yay! Let's go ahead and jump into some other dates. Janice, do you want to give us updates on?
Sure, some upcoming dates.
Yeah.
For.
By the way, you're reading the Spanish.
That's okay.
Somebody has to.
Spanish.
Someone has to. She's looking at
really
dates. I was like, look, she's got this.
It's the 18th of May, the 21st of May. I got it.
Nailed it.
So, upcoming, the 18th of May, our alternate sites open. Right now, for early voting, we only have the government center open. The 18th of May, which is a Saturday, the alternate sites open. There are 8 other sites in the county.
And real quick, I'll go ahead and list those for you all. They're Anthony Public Library, the Corbett Center Student Union, Doña Community College Chaparral, Doña Community College East Mesa, Doña Community College Sunland Park, Hatch Valley High School, Las Cruces City Hall, and Mesilla Town Hall, and also the Doña County Government Center. So those are our early voting, and those are the expanded voting locations.
Correct. So at the government center, the hours are 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. The expanded voting sites are open 11 to 7 Tuesday through Saturday.
And just also to let you all know, the expanded, like Janice said, expanded voting locations, those are May 18th through June 1st.
Yes. There are 2 exceptions: no early voting on Sundays, and then Memorial Day, early voting is closed, which I believe is the 27th this year.
Yep.
And then we have May 21st, which is the last day to submit an application for an absentee ballot. June 1st is the last day of early voting. The government center will be open that day also. It's a Saturday. The hours at the government center are 10 to 6, while the expanded sites are still 11 to 7. And then we also have Election Day, which is June 4th. That's polling sites are open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And
we have 42 locations.
42 locations. All of those locations, you can still do SDR on Election Day.
It's true.
And let's see what else. You have to have your absentee ballots in by 7 p.m. on Election Day to our office, not into the mail.
And you can drop them off, by the way. You can drop off your absentee ballots. If for some reason you didn't get it to the mail, you can't get it to our office, you can drop it off at one of our locations, voting locations. Just make sure you drop it off by 7.
Yep.
Yes.
Can I add a note about absentee as well?
Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about absentee.
Okay. So something that I hear about absentee, folks who are interested in voting absentee here, which there are any number of reasons that you could, it's a great process. But something that I hear a lot from folks who are calling on the phone about it is the reason they want to do it is so they can have their ballot there with them and they can research all the candidates and they can kind of fill it out at their leisure before returning it. And that's a perfectly fine way to do it. But just so you know, in case you're not sure if you want to do absentee or not, or just in case that May 21st deadline has come and gone, you can also find out who is on your ballot by going to nmvote.org. You can request a sample ballot there. Or if you call us, we can also send you your sample ballot. And then I know that there are super sample ballots, which show everybody in every race in the entire county. And those are available at all the polling sites. But if you want yours, we can get it to you.
That's true. I personally vote absentee every year. It's just more convenient for me, especially because I'm here helping run the elections all day, every day.
Yep.
Keep in mind, we also do, this year we started permanent absentee list. So the new applications have a box to check to say that you want to be placed on the permanent absentee list. If you check that box, you'll be placed on the list. You won't have to turn in another application for the general. You'll receive a reminder in the mail that you'll be receiving a ballot. Unless you have changes, if you have changes to your address or your name, anything that's required on the absentee application, then you will have to fill out another one. But other than that, you're on permanently and you'll just receive a ballot for every election.
I really, in my opinion, think this is such a great new law that we have, because I feel like if you wanted to keep doing absentee, keep voting absentee, it's like you kept having to apply, and you always had to remember those deadlines and making sure that you got your application to get your ballot on time, which I feel like it was a burden on the voter. And I feel like we should eliminate as many burdens as possible. And so I'm really excited that our state now has the permanent absentee list.
Like, I get the logic of having to request it every time. Like, the whole point was having that record that, yes, you did want it for this election. Yes, you did want it for this election. But when elections are only happening, like, at most twice a year, generally just once a year, it's really easy to kind of let that thing slip your mind. So this is just one less step to worry about.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. If you have any questions about absentee or getting on that permanent absentee list, you can always go to our website, dacelection.com. You can check out nmvote.org. Like Emily was saying, if you want to check out your sample ballot, anything like that, that's on nmvote.org. Let's go ahead and talk about voting on election day. I love voting election day. I haven't done it the last couple elections because, I'm here and it's easy to walk down the hall and say hi to everyone and vote. It takes a minute. But voting election day, there are diehard people who only vote election day. No matter how long the line is, they're going to vote on election day. And I kind of love that.
I mean, it's like being at a midnight release for something. It's all about the energy. It's all
Yes.
that
It's the
collective
excitement
effervescence.
of election day.
Yeah.
Agree. Emily, you had a note for us about voting in person.
Oh, yeah. Thank your poll workers.
Yes.
Every single polling site. We have 42 polling sites on election day. We've got the 8 plus our site for early voting. All of those sites are staffed by people who live in your community, and they're there all day. They are long days. They don't get to go and take an hour lunch break down the street. They are there all day to help you, and they get trained for it, and they are part of the process. And for one thing, we really appreciate them, but I hope you appreciate them too.
Absolutely. So I thank you, Emily, for bringing that up. I think, look, we don't make elections. There are 35 people in our office. We have 42 sites. We don't man every site. Like, it's impossible for our
cannot
office.
do it.
We can't do it. And so when we say that elections are run by our community, we mean it, because these are people in our community who are taking time out of their work or just taking time to be involved, who are doing this for us, for our community, and making sure that our democracy is strong. And so, yeah, I'm so glad. Thank you for saying thank your election officials. I love it.
We want to talk
Yes.
to people about who maybe want to apply to become an election.
Yeah, if you ever want to
Ah.
apply, let's just talk about Karen real quick. Karen is our election official coordinator, and she does an amazing job. She is working with 250 to 300 people every election, at least.
At least, yes.
At least. And so she's coordinating where they're going to locations. You might not know this, but by law, we have to have representation from the 2 major parties, at least 2 parties.
Yeah.
At least 2 of the 3 major parties. So what we're saying is basically we try to have an even number of Democrats, an even number of Republicans. Luckily, we have a lot of independents, and we can kind of put them in wherever we need help.
But
Yeah.
the point is that she has to basically play Sudoku with whoever
does.
is going to every single site. And so, like, if one person leaves, she has to rearrange a lot of things.
She
Like,
does.
It's very involved.
And it can be difficult at times, but she really does a great job, and just know that she does the best she can to meet that statutory requirement, actually, is what it is.
Yeah, by law, we have to do this. And so, but Karen just does an amazing job. If you ever want to come and work an election, I encourage it. We want people to see how elections happen, and this is done by our community.
Yeah.
I also want to encourage young people, because if you're 16 or 17, you can still work an election, even though you can't vote yet. We can talk about that on another podcast.
It's a great reason to take a day off school.
Absolutely.
Just
and
saying.
get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a paid role.
It is a paid role. You're looking at what, $300, $400, I think? 400?
I think it's 300
300, yeah.
now. Yeah, they just recently got raised.
Yeah, that's right. So $300 for a day's work, and this is it looks great on your applications, and it helps it helps our students immensely. Also, we've had some times where like the student and their parent are working at a location, which I think is really fun. And so if you ever want to work an election, you can go ahead and apply on our website, dacelections.com. I think it's a lot of fun that day. It's a long day. We won't lie to you. The polls are open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. But you have to get there early, and you're going to leave late because we have to clean up everything. And so it's a long day, but it's a very fun day.
It is a fun day. And when she says long, she's not lying. You have to arrive at your site by 6 a.m., and then the polls close at 7 p.m., but you still have some work to do after the polls close, so you're usually there for an hour or 2 after that. So it's a good 14-hour day, but it's worth it, and you get paid. And it's a day off of school.
Yep.
But again, this is why we appreciate our poll workers.
Absolutely. We love our election officials. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. Any other things we want to talk about election day voting?
Ooh, I've got one.
Yes.
So one of the nice things about having 42 sites all throughout the county is that you are not limited to a single site. I know it used to be you had to go and vote whichever is closest to your precinct or whichever is in your precinct. That's not the case anymore. Now they're all connected. So if you wanted to go vote at Hatch Valley High School, you could do that. And then all the other sites know. And then that way you don't go to like Mesilla Town Hall and try to vote there because they'll know about it. But my point is that if you go to a particular site and it is really busy, or at least it's too busy for you that day, they will know where the next two closest sites are, and you can pop over there, and you may find that there's no line at all. That staff may be so excited to have someone walk through their doors.
Yeah.
But you have options.
Absolutely. And I remember this happening in November for the regular local, and it was election day, and there was a long line down the hallway here at the government center. I mean, it was a long line. And so we told everyone, we're like, hey, there's about a 2-minute wait at Fair Acres, which is about a mile away, and about a 2-minute wait at Mesilla, which was maybe 2 miles away. And so there was actually a doctor and his entire office who was here, because their office is right by that Walgreens right there. Mm-hmm. And he was like, all right, let's go to Fair Acres. And like him and his nurses and the staff, they all went to Fair Acres. But I mean, that's what's great about being so voter friendly is we print your ballot on demand. So there are never pre-printed ballots. So you're getting your ballot when you get to the location. And so you can vote at any location. You can live in Hatch and vote at Las Cruces City Hall. Mm-hmm. And you're still going to get your ballot because it's specific to you. Also, I want to point out to people, in case you're ever hearing rumors or anything like that, yes, we do have paper ballots. When you get to a location, they ask you who you are. They verify who you are. They print out your permit, which has your name and your address. And then they print out your ballot, which is, of course, security. It does not have your name on it or anything like that. So you get your permit and your paper ballot. We have paper ballots. And then you get to vote, and you put your paper ballot through the machine. You hear the ding. You get your I voted sticker, and you hand them your permit, and then they file your permit.
This is very true.
That's true.
I remember, I think it was the 2022 general, we were finishing up either the canvassing process or the audit process, which involves going through all of the paper ballots, like very specifically.
We account for every piece of paper.
Multiple times. Mm-hmm. And I came home one day from doing that, and then I saw on social media someone talking about, we should go back to doing paper ballots. And I looked at my husband, and I think I gave him a look that could have withered every plant on this wall. We use paper ballots, and this is a little aggressive. You may want to cut it, but I was trying to add like a flavorful fun story. But yeah.
Like, I just count. Do you know how many paper ballots I just counted?
I promise we use paper ballots.
Is that why he worked last election, so he could see?
He believed me. He worked last election. He had the time, and he was interested. Like he was there to be there. He was not there to like verify anything that I was saying, because he knows that I don't lie about stuff like that. I don't lie about anything, folks.
Another myth I'd like to dispel.
Go on, let's talk about it. Yeah.
The use of ballpoint or colored pens on the ballot.
Oh yeah.
It's perfectly fine. You're voting from home. You want to use a purple ink ballpoint pen, please use it. Even if we can't, for whatever reason, get it through the tabulator, we'll hand tally it for you. Mm-hmm. And there has not been an instance where our tabulators have not taken ballpoint pen ink. It does. I don't know where that myth came from or how it started, but
yeah, I'm not sure how this, I guess I'm going to call it what it is, which is a very strange conspiracy theory, where it came from. You can use whatever pen you want. It's fine. Like Janice said, if for some reason the machine doesn't take, which I don't think it would,
I've
for
never
some reason, yeah,
come across it.
Absolutely. If for some reason that happens, we will just hand tally your ballot. It's that simple. Mm-hmm. What's another weird one here? So we hear that we don't use paper ballots. I was like, do you want to see what I wear?
Well, yeah. as long as we're talking about the pens, I do want to shout out the voter who I assume walked out of a polling site during the last election with one of the ballot pens. And then you mailed it back to us.
Yes.
That was so nice.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
That never happens. Thank you. That was really cool.
Yes, we do have felt tip pens at the the vote centers for you to use. Mm-hmm. There's no difference really between those and a ballpoint ballpoint pen, just that they don't bleed through to the other side of the ballot. But yes,
That was so nice of him.
Yeah. A real standout act.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
sure.
I love that. I love it. So let's see, what else I kind of always like describing that process. Like I remember when I was a child, I would go with my parents to vote. And so when I voted when I was 18 for the first time, it really wasn't scary to me because I had always gone with my parents. But I feel like some people don't have that opportunity. And so maybe going to vote for the first time may be a little scary. So I try to like tell them what happens when you get there. You know, you're going to tell them who you are. You're going to get your permit. You're going to get your ballot.
For sure.
Yeah. Anything else you want to let people know, remind people of?
I suppose just if you are going to a polling site to vote in person, do try to check in first. And then if they're not able to find you or they find out that your address is out of date, that's a good opportunity to run to the same day registration clerk and use that process. We do ask that you at least try to check in first, unless you know for sure, like I just moved to Doña County yesterday. I know I'm not going to be in your system yet. But give the clerks a chance. They might find you.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know what? We do have one other new thing this election. Sample ballot stations for voter use at all of our sites. They're now, instead of having to wait in line to get a sample ballot when you go in, we have stations set up that you can use at your convenience to print your own sample ballot. It's very easy. You put in your street name and follow the directions on the screen, and then once your address will pop up with a range. You click on it and then click print sample ballot, and it'll come right out, and you don't have to wait in line and figure out which line you need to be in.
Yeah, and please feel free to ask questions. You know, there's a presiding judge at every location. There's a machine judge. Our clerks are really great. So feel free to ask questions, and everyone is happy to help.
Yes. We will get you to the finish line one way or another.
Absolutely. Oh, one thing we didn't talk about, and I love talking about it, and that is our UOCAVA. UOCAVA just means our federal absentee voting. So this is uniformed and civilian overseas. So if you're serving our country overseas, or you're civilian living overseas, you still have the right as an American citizen to vote. And so if you have any questions about that, feel free to call our office. You can talk to Doña. Doña is a military family, and so she's very passionate about helping our UOCAVA voters. And how many UOCAVA do we have? I know how many have we had already? I'm just asking questions you guys don't know. I'm sorry.
I honestly don't know. And I just looked this morning, and there's so many numbers on the page.
Tanya sends out a report every morning.
I know. I saw the reports. I was like, do you guys remember? Like, I looked at it, but I remember.
Yeah. The information exists. We don't have it, but it exists.
It is there.
It's there.
Another place you can go to get information on overseas voting is FVAP. So FV as in Victor, AP.org.
.gov.
Is it .gov now? They changed it? Oh, it used to be .org.
See, we fact check ourselves in real time.
We do fact check in real time. FVAP.gov. And if you see this lovely flyer that Cynthia created is on our website. There's QR code, so you can go ahead and look at everything. NMvote.org is here. DACelections.com, which is our website, is here. So again, the big dates, early voting has already started May 7th, and election day is June 4th. Very exciting.
It's coming right up.
Oh, I'm excited. I love election day. Election day is always fun to me. I love election day. Alrighty, well, I think that's it. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our office. Check us out online. Follow our social medias. We do lots of updates on election day. Around 7:30 is where we start doing updates, especially on Facebook and Instagram, and it's pretty regular. Like every 15 minutes or so, we're doing an update. And so feel free to follow us there. X or Twitter, you can follow us there also. So I just want to thank, of course, Cynthia, who's been hanging out with us today. She didn't get to say much today. Emily Burr, thank you for joining us on the podcast today. Janice Giron, thank you for joining us. And be sure to follow us. My name's Caroline Zamora, and I'm the Chief Deputy County Clerk. If you have any questions about elections, give us a call. Thank you.